not a surprise, and we know a lot about him. He is now 64 years old, but his family's wealth, they were beneficiaries. His sister and he were both beneficiaries to some of that account. By U.S. accounts, it's 10 billion U.S. dollars that were taken by his father. Like his father, he has been both a congressman and a senator. He's repeating the dictator's path, and it just shows you how resilient this family is. I think one of the interesting things to look at here, though, is how he has gotten to this point, which is the massive disinformation network that really is seeking to change history, what one church group called historical denialism. And that has been chronicled by Rappler in an investigation in 2019.
Interesting also to understand how the public view him. How do Filipinos view Ferdinand Marcos Jr.?
Extremely divided. I mean, he almost won as vice president. He brought that to the Supreme Court. He won as vice president against Leni Robredo, who is expected to file her candidacy tomorrow. She is now vice president, the lead of the opposition. But as he filed his candidacy for president today, there were about 100 people who protested against him, reminding people what his father and his family have done.
What chances do you think he has of securing the presidency compared to others who have thrown their hat into the ring so far, including former boxer Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, the more people, the greater the chance Marcos has. President Duterte won in a field of 5 with 39% of the votes in 2016. Right? Our president is elected for a 6-year term. In a field of 8, Bongbong Marcos, just based on name recall, gains greater power. In the last statistical survey by Pulse Asia in September, he was actually second, just behind the daughter of Duterte, Sara Duterte, who is mayor of Davao City now. So this is, our country's democracy will depend on what happens in these elections in May.
There's speculation that Bongbong might even form an alliance with President Duterte's daughter, Sarah. How might this work?
Yeah. It's a tactic that has been used by the Duterte family to stay in power in Davao City since 1988, right? The Duterte family has done that. It's called substitution. And what we expect, President Duterte on Sunday actually said that he would retire from politics, that he would not run for vice president. And yet, this is a tactic that he did in 2015. And at the last minute in November, so we won't really know until November, he substituted in for president on someone else's candidacy. So we expect something like that could happen, and it would be very potent because they're families that own the North and own the South.
So you don't think that for President Duterte this might be the end of his spell in politics?
Wait and see until after the period of substitution is over. Again, this is a tactic that is used in local elections. Rarely, I think President Duterte is the first one to really bring this to the national stage. It makes a mockery of the spirit of the certificates of candidacy. So tactics over spirit, I suppose.
Let's talk about some of the other candidates. As we mentioned, former boxing champion Manny Pacquiao, hugely popular, and also the mayor of Manila have announced their candidacy. How do you think they'll fare in the election?
It will really depend on the number of candidates who will run and their base, their political base. The mayor of Manila is a movie star. He was a former movie star, and so he may have name recall in different parts of the Philippines, but he still has to prove that he can get votes in a nationwide post. Manny Pacquiao is well known, but this is going to be money thrown into it. This is going to be very critical. But I think more than anything, all of these candidates are going to have to deal with facts, changing the facts to fit what they want to do. And this is part of why Facebook will play a critical role in our elections.
very important elections coming up. Meanwhile, your upcoming book is called How to Stand Up to a Dictator. What do you think Bongbong and others like Pacquiao would mean for media freedom in the Philippines if they're elected? And also, this is a double question, what safeguards are needed to ensure the upcoming elections are run free and fairly?
I'll answer the second one first and then move forward. Look, this is going to be a battle for facts. And a Marcos win will happen if he successfully erases history, if he successfully entrenches historical denialism. And the problem is that the distribution platform of news, the world's largest distribution platform is Facebook, and as you can see it in the US Senate last night, lies laced with anger and hate spread faster and further than facts. So you pound a lie a million times, it becomes a fact. This is what we see happening, burnishing the brand of the Marcoses, turning the Marcos name from dictator to, potentially president again. My book is about how to stand up to a dictator is really a wake-up call to all of us around the world. What you're seeing happening in the Philippines is only, a case study of what is coming your way because we use the same distribution platforms for facts. Right? What we have seen this year alone, Oxford University's Computational Propaganda Research Project says that in at least 81 countries around the world, cheap armies on social media are rolling back democracy. It is changing the way we behave. It is changing the integrity of the vote. So we're going to have to stand up for that. You're going to have to stand up and define the world you want.
Maria Ressa, thanks so much for talking to us tonight. We really appreciate it.